Alright, so welcome back. On deck today is going to be another brush deflection test. If you hadn't seen my previous testing done with the 76239 and the 5.45, I will link that in the description down below. And I had some requests and also some curiosity on my own part to try the 5.56 and see how that compares. So we're going to go ahead and give that a whirl. So what we have is our target's 5 yards behind our standard issue desert brush here. We're going to stand back approximately 5 yards, pick a point of aim there, and send 5 rounds down range. We're going to use 3 different loadings. It'll be the Wolf Gold 55 grain. So that should be a good representation of M193. We're going to use the Lake City M855 and also a 77 grain bull tail hollow point. So pretty good representation of the various weights and types of rounds that are typically encountered in this caliber. And I am a little curious to see how it stacks up against the 7.62x39 and the 5.45 as well. Again, I will link the previous video for 7.62 and 5.45 in the description down below. So if you haven't seen that yet, go ahead and check that out. And we'll see how this stacks up. So let's go ahead and get this going. Alright, so first up is going to be our 55 grain. Show. Seeing my point of aim. Alright, let's go take a look. Okay, so yep, definitely got some deflection. Had 2 rounds made it through with no deflection. We're aiming right around here, so our offset should put us right in here for our actual point of impact. So we had 1 deflected minor, some slight destabilization there, but that's not too far off from where our impact should be. 2 that seemed like they breezed through, and then we had 2 that actually deflected off. Keep in mind, guys, this is not exactly scientific because I don't have the same brush or bush to shoot through. So this particular bush is it could be thicker, the limbs could be larger. It is what it is, but hopefully we'll see get some pretty good comparisons. So let's go ahead and load up the M855 and give that a whirl. All right, we got our M855 loaded up, so we'll do 5 rounds to see how this shakes out. Definitely caught a limb on that one. And there again. Alright, let's go take a look. Okay, so I marked our previous 55 grain rounds with a circle. And our 62 grain load should be hitting right up in here. This would be our point of aim, point of impact. Our point of aim is actually in this region, so our point of impact should be somewhere in here. So we had 2 that looked like they made it through. I guess 1 skidded to the side a little, but they're not destabilized. We have 1 that's destabilized completely. And we have another that's fully destabilized there. Let me see, I don't see should have 5. I don't know if it's possible 1 missed. I guess it could be possible. I don't see it on here. I'm pretty sure I loaded 5 and fired 5. Unless it hit right there with that other one. Hard to tell. Okay, nonetheless, though, obviously we're getting some pretty good destabilization. So let's go ahead and load up the 77 grain and see if we can see any difference. All right, we got our 77 grain loaded up. It's a hollow point bolt tail. I believe this is a Freedom Munitions loading. I think they used the Nosler bullet, but I don't really know that that's going to make any real difference, Nosler, Sierra, or whatever, when we're talking about destabilization on this brush. So let's go ahead and see how this does. down a branch there. It's getting hard to see my point of aim. And got one more, lost count. All right, let's go take a look. All right, so we're looking at the results of the 77 grain bolt tail hollow point. I had to move the target. I flipped the target over and actually moved the target dot. So this impact right here, which was already marked, was from our M855. So what we have is 2 rounds are fully destabilized, but actually tracked fairly true. 2 rounds impacted, one here, which is about right for the offset. And yeah, looking at it, looks like 1 is missing. I'm pretty sure I fired 5. I'll have to go back and check the footage again and make sure, unless one of these rounds took out the hole, possibly. Otherwise, I only see 4 hits. However, the 4 that did hit actually tracked fairly well. So, all right, well, there you go. We had 4 hits from our M855, unless one of the holes, ended up in another. We had all 5 hits from our Wolf Gold. The M855 and Wolf Gold seem to destabilize somewhat the same overall. Our 77 grain definitely did, at least in this test, seem to track a little truer, but we did lose 1 round, or we're just missing 1 round. I have to review the footage, make sure that I fired 5 for both M855 and the 77 grain, but I'm pretty sure that I did. Yeah, so there you go. That's the results of that. Keep in mind, guys, this is not scientific. There's no way for me to control all the variables. This is a different bush than I used last time, obviously. I don't know where that bush is, and quite frankly, just not a lot you can do about that. Do keep that in mind. There are going to be some variables here and whatnot, but nonetheless, it is still an interesting result. And again, if you haven't seen the 7.62x39 versus 5.45 test, I will link that in the description down below, so you can go ahead and check that out and actually have something to sort of compare to. All right, well, that's going to do it for today. So if you like this kind of content, you haven't already done so, go ahead and subscribe. Please do like the video and share, and go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what you think, but as always, please keep those comments professional, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, guys, I just wanted to give a quick update. I did find that 5th 77 grain impact. You can see our M855 originally was a nice clean punch here. That round actually had impacted here, and you can actually see now it is not a clean punch. It's oblong. You can actually see where it cut through the square that I had placed around it. So we did find that other impact. So all 5 are 77 grains impacted, and they also had the least amount of deviation of the rounds fired. So that's actually an interesting result.